And welcome to the latest and greatest from Step Brother Sports, part of the Hockey Podcast Network and the Bills Mafia Buffalo fan base platform. We are brought to you by Rich Brow Brewing, located at 5 South 20th Street, and they are Richmond, Virginia's premier Buffalo Bills backers bar. Folks, we're back again the second time this week, and we are thrilled, excited. The Buffalo Bills are hosting the Kansas City Chiefs in what feels like an annual regular season and postseason 2 Titanic clash. So we thought what better way to get into the weeds with this matchup than by having some AFC West experts join us. They hail from various regions across the United States, in St. Louis, Missouri, Fresno, California, even stationed on a naval base on the California coast. So they all find a way to not kill each other on their pod, of course, unless you're talking about the Chargers. So please welcome Austin, Corey, Matt, and Cody of the West War Room podcast. So gentlemen,
welcome boys. Full house tonight.
Going on.
This
is
so exciting.
Guys.
Yeah, so again, we have the week upon us, and we cannot wait to talk more about the matchup here. But before we do that, for our audience here, we want to get to know you guys a little bit more, of course, and figure what got you guys into this background of covering your teams, especially with the three of the four AFC West teams being on here. But yeah, tell our listeners on here a little bit about yourselves, how you all got to where you are with your pod. And you've also, like we were just alluded to off camera a little bit, had some pretty awesome guests as well. So feel free to kind of go a little deep dive on that.
Yeah, so I kind of had the vision of starting a podcast originally with my brother here. We love sports. We figured what better way of sharing that with everybody than starting a sports podcast. You see like Pat McAfee, watching him all the time. And then obviously Jason and Travis have their podcast. So we always joke around and say we're the Temu brand of the Kelsey brothers and started that. Then I kind of wanted more. So then I kind of started coming up with, well, what can we do to expand? So I originally started with the roundtable, kind of, back and forth. Met with Cody. Cody had previously been on one of our shows. Matt's another Broncos fan who's one of our first guests that we ever had on the Shovik Sports channel. So Matt's kind of been with us since day one. And then I was like, let's just throw something together. It was going to be kind of one of those shows that you're only doing, every, 3-4 weeks. And then we did the first couple episodes and got really good feedback and really good return on it. And then all of a sudden, my brother had sent a message to all of us one day and was like, hey, guys, Dick Vermeil wants to come on our show. So we were able to have Coach Dick Vermeil as our first NFL guest. And it kind of took off from there. We've had John Abraham, Derek Blaylock, Eric Warfield, Eric Coleman,
Carl Pickens. He's a friend.
And then, of course,
Quentin Jammer.
Quentin Jammer.
It's a name.
Bills Mafia will know Matt Prater. Matt Prater was one of our guests as well before the season. So prior to him signing with the Bills, he came on and was talking about kicking in the NFL. And so in all 2 years, we've been doing a show. But as a group here of us four, we've only been at it for about 5.5, almost 6 months. And it's taking off. And it's going places we could not even imagine it going to. So thank you again for you guys to allow us to come on here and share the experience. And thank you to all of our followers who are tuning in tonight in Bills Mafia. So thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So the pleasure really, truly it's all ours again, because it's a really joyous occasion for you could honestly say the entire NFL slate, because all eyes will be on this game. They have the CBS crew coming to Buffalo, to the stadium, just like they did last year. I mean, we got to go to the game last year, too. It was a hell of a time. I can fully guarantee it should be very similar vibes going into it as well.
I'm pissed I'm going to miss it this year. I'm mad.
I know,
Chris
yeah.
is going, I'm staying.
Yeah. You've had quite the travel slate the last few weeks, Sean, so I can imagine being tapped out would be understandable, of course, too. Yeah. But still, gentlemen, we can get to the meat and potatoes on this. At this point in time now, because Austin, you are the lone Chiefs representative of the West War Room gang here. So while many in Western New York, let's be honest, worldwide, just tune into the Chiefs regularly, just whether they hate watch or they just generally want to just pick up on like an awesome team that's doing some historical things. What have been, we'll start at kind of a little bit more of a broader lens here, your immediate takeaways from the season so far at this point, whether it's on the offensive side of the ball, defensively, even from a special team standpoint. So, Austin, floor is yours.
Oh, man, season as a whole so far, it's been a roller coaster. And it's actually gone reverse of how I expected. I thought after the Super Bowl, the Chiefs would come out more focused and do better than starting out how they did. Especially against the Chargers, right? Like it's a division opponent. It's not someone like you're facing, no offense, we're not facing the Browns or something. Like you're coming off your last game, getting just embarrassed in a Super Bowl. You get to start the next season, division rival. I expected them to be prepared, and they really weren't. Then they let that kind of go into a slide. But now we're back on the up and up. People are getting healthy. Offense is rocking. Defense has only given up 7 points in the last 8 quarters. Now, again, it was against the Raiders, if you can't call them a football team, and then the Commanders without Jaden Daniels. So take that with a grain of salt. But I think it's been a roller coaster. I think this game will actually see how far back the Chiefs have come. And I mean that whether they win or lose. Is it going to be competitive? Do they look like a football team? Are they beating themselves? Are they going how a lot of these matchups have gone, toe-to-toe, punch for punch? So far, I think we're on the up and up. This is be a good test to see where we're at. And honestly, the part that hurts the most is the Chiefs special teams. That's always been what I thought was an X factor for the Chiefs. That's kind of what separated them from a lot of the other really good teams as far as field goal kicking goes, punt and kick returns. But every time we return a kick, now Jack Cochran gets a holding call. Harrison Butker has been a little iffy on field goals and extra points. So I think as long as that gets figured out, they'll continue to separate themselves from the rest of the really good teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to give you, I guess maybe we can give you a little bit of insight of what we see objectively. Chris Maz and I have both been really outspoken just on the AFC, as a whole, and we've talked Broncos, Raiders, we've talked Chiefs, obviously. I keep making the comment that despite what you may think about the Bills, and obviously most of our listeners tend to be, Bills fans, obviously, I've been saying, man, the Chiefs are coming. They didn't obviously have the best start to the season. You kind of alluded to that, but they are getting healthy. Obviously, you had Rashee Rice had the suspension. You've had guys really banged up. So I do want to ask you specifically about the offensive side, the receivers, and I do have a running back question for you. But yeah, man, we know they're going to be there. We know that this game is always a measuring stick game, as we said, alluded to before we went live. The Bills really haven't played better than like their B game this year. They haven't really played any type of a contender. And Baltimore week 1, we thought that was, something to behold, but obviously Baltimore has not really, they're a shadow of themselves, at least until Lamar Jackson is back. But I think our perspective is we know that the Chiefs are going to be there at the end. The Bills will likely get it together and be there at the end. We'll end up probably, facing each other probably at the very end before, to go to the Super Bowl. And we'll have to see what happens. But it's a different iteration of the team like it is every year. I think the Bills might have lost maybe a step on offense. We'll just have to kind of see. But it's very worrisome as we see you guys getting healthy and the variety of weapons that you have on the field. You're kind of almost adopting a little bit of the Bills methodology, which is everybody eats and spread it around. But I think that you guys have like a slightly juiced up version of that. You have some like number 1 targets and things, and obviously Kelsey. But I did want to ask you specifically about the receivers and how it's been different. So that room this year, what started off obviously decimated unit from injuries and suspensions. It really is. Chris Maz called it earlier this week a lethal force for any defense line up against the combination of starters of you got Hollywood Brown on the outside, Xavier Worthy, obviously a former first-round pick that the Bills could have had. Rashee Rice is back. A great tight end combo, I think similar, but actually better than what Buffalo feels in Kelsey and Gray, and not to mention Thornton as well. And even like some of your reserve guys, Juju is still making plays, let's say, in his career. It's just really solid depth of the available pass catchers that have been on display week after week. And then to talk a little bit about the running back room as well. Obviously, you have kind of the two-headed monster that's been around for a while, Kareem Hunt and Pacheco. I know Pacheco is a little banged up with a knee right now, but you still have Mahomes. So just to kind of, if you can, summarize up, the offensive side. And one guy I wanted to ask you, I know we do have people that tune in for some fantasy advice. A guy that I've had my eye on is that rookie running back, I think it's Brashard Smith. I know he's been getting more carries and target share as we kind of go along, but just kind of give us your sense of how this offense is kind of taking shape, and I guess all the weapons, and how Mahomes is kind of utilizing everybody to really playing point guard this year.
Yeah, and I want to allude to you were talking about this as a measuring stick.
For sure.
10 minutes in, we got a refs comment. Shocker, right?
There we go.
But when you were mentioning this as a measuring stick game, that's kind of how the last few years Bills and Chiefs have been able to treat this. But I think both of us actually have to worry a little bit more now about division, right? Broncos and Chargers actually being competitive. Sorry, Raiders. And then, the Patriots.
Yeah.
I've been a Drake May believer since college. I didn't know it happened this quick. And I don't know if it's going to last this year. But, this game we could usually just see how it goes and see how each team looks, and we're still both going to win our division. A win kind of means a little bit more now with how these division races are shaping up. So I'm curious to see if a little added pressure on any team gets added from that. But to allude on the offense, it's about time the Chiefs have just, a room full of weapons. The last couple of years just being decimated, and Patrick Mahomes just trying to do what he can with very little. So it's nice to have Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice. I mean, even Juju Smith-Schuster has had some huge catches, clutch catches. The fact that Thornton right now is like fighting for scraps now that everyone's healthy goes to show the depth. And you're kind of seeing it, right? I mean, Mahomes is second in the league in passing, but like nobody has over, I think it was like 200 receiving or 300 receiving yards. I can't remember which one.
Funny you mentioned Thornton. My dynasty league is not exactly benefiting from that anymore, just because he was a nice little pickup for a few weeks.
He really was, though, and I'd like to see us still like use him and take those deep shots with him because it was effective. I'm not saying go out and give him Jamar Chase type targets, but why not a couple here and there? But that just goes to show how deep the room is now. And they really are feeding everybody. I mean, it could be Hollywood Brown. It could be Worthy. Noah Gray against the Raiders. Well, again, it was everyone against the Raiders, but that one, Noah Gray showed out a little bit more than Travis Kelce. Sorry, Cody.
I guess. That's cool. I guess I'll just be a punching bag tonight. That's fine.
I was gonna say it's the life you're currently living, man.
Cody, we got some love for you later. Don't worry, Cody. We got some love for you later in the show.
We do. We made sure to take some notes on it.
All right, appreciate it.
One team has to be last, okay? And right now it's the Raiders. So, but no, it's nice. I think Brashard Smith actually didn't see the field much against the Commanders, though. So
it was like 2 weeks ago. He got some run. I saw.
Yep, and that was the blowout against the Raiders when we put Gardner Minshew.
Golly,
and all.
Can I get a quarter for every time you mention the Raiders getting blown out?
But that's why he got a lot of run that game, is because we had starters pulled in the third quarter. That's just the facts. I'm sorry, that wasn't trying to be a shot.
Also,
I feel like
get
get some shots over here.
I was gonna say, friend of the show, Adam Kennedy, saying Adam is too nice to truly be a Chiefs fan. So he is recently adopted. He has recently adopted Bills Mafia as we've gotten to know each other this past year.
And Sabres.
Well. So he is fully invested into the Western New York culture, despite living in Richmond. So all the props to Adam right there, of course. But still, he thinks you're too nice right now. So, but at the same time, it's some good discourse at the moment there, Austin.
Yeah, we're trying to keep the gloves on for now. I will say, I think Sean was right, though. I think for the Chiefs to get to that next level, they need Brashard Smith to become that Jerick McKinnon type running back that the Chiefs had. Not lethal in the run game, but I mean, McKinnon had that stretch where he had like 9 receiving touchdowns in the final 6 games. If they can get Brashard Smith to provide that out of the backfield, now how do you really guard them? You're going to play deep to avoid the deep shots and let Travis and Brashard eat underneath? You're going to play press man and then just let our track team run by you? So I think you're spot on. I don't know when that playing time is really going to uptick for him, but it has to be in the making, and I think we're probably saving it for the stretch run. Don't tip your hand too soon type deal. Yeah. Like, we're doing just fine without it. Let's ease it in type deal. So, but you are spot on. All of Chiefs Kingdom is ready for that game from him, and it will come. I just don't know when.
I think it's kind of nice, and Chris Maz, I'll let you chime in. I think it's nice for you guys that out of necessity, whether it be injuries or the suspensions, obviously, at different points, like Thornton, we talked about, you've had guys that have been able to step up and make plays, and now you have a plethora of weapons that have proven that they can play at this level, and now everybody's healthy and available.
Yep.
So that scares me quite a bit because the Bills have weapons that we don't know if they can step up. Like some of them, they're proven, but we have guys like Keon Coleman. We haven't seen it in a sample size. And I feel like I'm worried that if the Chiefs can deploy their weapons effectively, which at times Joe Brady's Achilles heel this year has been not utilizing talent to their strengths. I think if the Chiefs could do that, man, there's no window closing for them anytime soon. They're going to be here. So that's what worries me.
Yeah, like we were saying, playing too much with his food. He's just trying to galaxy brain it. He's trying to do reverse plays with Dawson Knox, which will lead into fumbles and turnovers, or even the same thing with Elijah Moore, when all you need is just to lean forward with Josh Allen with like the more legal version of the tush push, unless you're the Eagles, of course. So
yeah, my question for you guys though is, because I'm curious, and I've been saying it for years. Like, I know you guys have Josh Allen. Let's be honest. It doesn't matter how they're playing. I feel like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are 1-2. And honestly, there's no wrong answer for 1 or 2. I think most people go Mahomes just because of the Super Bowl and all the fancy stuff.
That's fair.
But honestly, you're not upset with either one.
Nah.
My question is, even though you have a guy like Josh Allen, don't you still think everything offensively begins and ends with James Cook? Like, shouldn't he be getting 20, 25 plus touches a game? I know you have Josh Allen. Okay, I get that. But I feel like James Cook is the engine of that offense.
Very much so this year. Like this is a more unique season. We haven't had it be as big of a need for James Cook to go off the way he's been going so far this season. But just the way he's just produced. I mean, you saw what he did to the Carolina Panthers this Sunday. 216 yards on just 19 carries. Like he's only like the third running back of all time to have that level of production just in a game with that few carries. But I mean, he is the driving force of the offense right now. And the offensive line is obviously a big piece of that too. But the fact that that's the only real like true threat from the offense right now, other than Allen himself, like obviously like he is like the key weapon. I mean, the wide receivers, I mean, if you go over all across Bill's social media, Bill's Twitter, like even just going into a lot more of the content creators that just have had this discourse for weeks now, ever since like I'd say maybe even like the Patriots game, sooner than that, the wide receivers are just having a huge struggle with separation and just getting open consistently. Keon Coleman, he has been really in the crosshairs these past couple of years. Not to mention the fact with the big trade that went down in the 2024 draft, which led to the Chiefs, of course, getting Xavier Worthy and the Bills trading down. I mean, Brandon Beane is also finding himself in the crosshairs.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. I'm sure you're quite pleased with that. You're quite pleased with that, I'm sure. And a lot of Bills fans are just shaking their heads more because his drafting has really left a lot more to be desired, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, Dalton Kincaid looks like he's going to pan out pretty well.
Right. Shakir has overperformed his draft slot for sure.
Oh, yeah. He was a fifth-round pick. Mm-hmm. I mean, Keon Coleman, like we were saying, he has left a lot more to be desired. He, like I said, is really being the one to truly struggle with separation, and is always, if you're looking at a lot of the advanced metrics, just ranked at the bottom of the league for just being able to separate and get open easily and just be able to play off man coverage. And he's known to be a contested catch guy, but even that has been challenging for him this season. So not seeing him, other than how he went off in the Ravens game in game 1 of the season, that's been a true it's been a real disappointment. I mean, you wish to see more production out of him, and just Allen has seen a lot of targets, has had a lot of targets thrown to Keon Coleman's way, but it hasn't led to just positive results on the field. Like Sean was just saying, Khalil Shakir, he has, as far as wide receivers go, he has not only outperformed his draft class or draft position at being a 5th-round pick. I mean, he's a safety valve as a slot receiver, but he has a lot of very good yak potential, as you saw again this past Sunday on display once more. But he's been prone to that for a number of different occasions. But the problem is the way Joe Brady's offensive scheme is at the moment. He's not exactly getting super exotic with how he's using the wide receiver room. Often it's just going to be very short passes. The average depth of target is less than 10 yards.
They don't take shots downfield. They don't.
They're not a threat. And I mean, Josh Allen is known to have a cannon of an arm, just like Mahomes, of course. And the deep shots, like anything beyond 20 yards, is just almost non-existent in this passing game this year. So circling back to what you said about James Cook, like the offense is really starting to drive through him. And if he's starting to have a good game, that could open up the passing game. But again, the weapons around him, I mean, you could look at the other receivers that are in the wide receiver room for the Bills. Josh Palmer, he's down with an ankle injury. He was about to look like he was going to have a game against the Falcons before he had what looks like a high ankle sprain and leading into even what's being also reported as a knee injury as well. So he's been down for the count.
The one guy that can't actually separate that they brought in.
Again, be it from the Chargers, of course, too. Curtis Samuel, he's been a ghost not only last year, but this year as well, whether he's been on the injury report or even just as a healthy scratch. Like, you can't really rely on the guy despite also being a relative speedster. But again, kind of a repeated skill set. He's just more better known as like a slot receiver. If you're looking at Tyrell Shavers getting towards the bottom of the wide receiver depth chart, I mean, he's a great story. He fought tooth and nail, clawing his way off the practice squad. Like, he even had some spot starts in the last couple of years, but still, like, this is his first like real full season on the team. Like, even he's just been more of a special teams asset than he is just like an actual threat on the field. And then Elijah Moore, what everybody thought was going to be a pretty like sneaky pickup there, he's been a little bit lackluster in what he's done. Like, they've used him on some reverses and some real trick plays here and there, and he's gotten pay dirt a few times as well. But again, not really showing a lot of the wide receiver room. And Brandon Beane himself on the flagship station in Buffalo goes on to say that too many people are bitching about the lack of wide receivers, and he is really probably eating crow if that's going to be what he's going to die on for a hill. So
I saw you guys. Any chance that the Chiefs killer is on the 53-man roster Sunday and Gabe Davis?
So they did just promote him up from the practice squad because he was injured. He was on the single sole injury reserve practice squad spot. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, that 13 seconds game was magical for many reasons, but the most stinking sensation still for Bills fans to this day, especially in the last 5 years. So, I mean, was that game magical for everybody to watch and just football fandom as a whole? Absolutely. And Gabe Davis, like, he was able to basically get a contract more or less off that game, even though it was only his second season. But still, I mean, it's tough to say because he's coming off a pretty gnarly knee injury that he's been really fighting, I think, since his last time on the Bills, because that hampered him while he was on the Jaguars last year as well. So it's tough to say, but the Bills most definitely need wide receiver reinforcements. And Adam Schefter and a lot of insiders have already reported that the Bills are sniffing around the receiver market once more.
Yeah, as they should. And just to kind of tie a bow on that for you guys, we can kind of move on from this point. What I worry about is a competent D coordinator like a Spags, who is proven to outsmart the Bills, and similar D coordinators that are competent like him, seasoned, vets at that position. Okay, yeah, like James Cook is going to be the focal point, as he should be. There was, we had thoughts, can this guy be a bell cow back? And he isn't really, like, per se, but he gets so many explosive runs of 10, 15, 20 yards and then breaking a couple like long ones when he gets into the open field. He's got that speed to break away. But what I worry about is in a one-game series, that is the playoffs, if you can have a team that really dial in, and the Bills have been kind of the mindset of, we're going to line up with our extra offensive line or go two tight ends, and we're just going to run it down your throat, stop it. The team that sells out, it can stop it, and it's going to man up on your receivers. I don't know the team that can do that, like the Chiefs, a talented defense and a good play caller. If you can do that, I don't know that they have that player that can win one-on-one on the outside or in the slot. So it's like there's definitely a reason why they're looking for and they're searching for trade options, but it makes you wonder. It's like, why do we let some of these receivers like Stephon Diggs go? Like, we're going to circle back to needing that de facto number one guy that can just be open all the time, that we've kind of like moved on from that mythology. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah. Like they need to do something different. And that's why I'm worried about it. If someone takes Cook away, who else is going to hurt you on this team? I don't see it.
See, and as just a Chiefs, like somebody looking in on the Bills, for me, and I don't know if it's just because it's so different from the last few years. Well, maybe I think you started seeing it last year. what worries me with the Bills, well, not worries me, should worry you guys, I would think, is the defense. Honestly, like I don't know how long it's been since I've seen this bad of a Sean McDermott defense. Now I know you guys took care of business with Andy Dalton, but
Yeah, let's be real though.
Should do that.
Someone was getting fired. If they didn't come out after the bye with Andy Dalton at quarterback and didn't suffocate them and dominate, someone was getting fired. I guarantee you.
Bobby Babbage may have seen a pink slip at his door this past Monday. Had the Panthers really taking care of business on the Bills? But yeah,
but you're right.
The defense has been a real roller coaster this year. But yeah, go ahead, Austin.
But yeah, especially and then losing Oliver, he's been kind of a bright spot on that defense. That I know the Chiefs aren't going to run the ball 40 times up the middle at Ed Oliver, but that's still he's a pretty good pass rushing D tackle too. So I don't know. For me, I think aren't Bills fans and Bills Mafia a little more concerned with how their defense looks? Because that defense during their prime years, it feels weird saying that because I don't want to say they're out of them. But those few year stretch that they had, their defense was dominant. You had Boyer and Hyde back there. You had some big time corners, Milano. You just had those dudes, and their defense just feels soft now.
It is.
So I'll let you start this one off, Sean. But it's funny you mentioned that just because you say dominant defense. Well, yes, regular season, absolutely dominant for years that went by. And again, those players that you mentioned, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, they have definitely, whether they're retired or just on their last legs of their career, they're really just they're well past their prime, and you could just even see they just don't have the legs anymore. Tre'Davious White had his second stint with the Bills. He's left a lot more to be desired, but still they could get it done in the regular season. But when it comes to the playoffs, again, I think the average amount of points given up, I think with every Bills and Chiefs matchup, I think the Chiefs are averaging about 34, 35 points. So it's just good for that, but what else? So Sean, I'll let you add a couple more.
Yeah. To Austin, to your point, you're right. I have much higher confidence level in Josh Allen for one, and the offense as a whole, refinding whatever magic and knowing that we have two answers. Josh with his legs, Cook, just feeding him as many times as we need to win games. And, I have confidence that they can do that. The defense, I'll be honest with you hit the nail on the head. This is about the worst unit that they've had. I don't know on paper, but really just, performance wise, they haven't at times been able to stop the run. Teams that want to run the ball, they just gash them, and they'll literally just run the ball down the Bills' throat. They can't do anything. They're already an undersized D unit to begin with because they play nickel heavy. That's their regular base defense.
They draft based off athleticism more than just
they do
absolute, beef and size.
So those guys, they just get covered up in the run game. They get manhandled. But the thing where you could hang your hat, that's been a fairly constant with McDermott. Where what scares me more that they can be beat in that way, and they've been slightly better in that. What scares us the most, and I don't want to speak for Chris, but I think I can on this. I think their secondary has just been. It was a staple when you had Hyde and Poyer back there. You had the good corners, like you said. They've had a lot of turnover, and they've had a lot of injuries. We had to have Jordan Poyer had to start last game. He was on the street on the couch, at the beginning of the season. I get that he knows the system. But, yeah, we have Cole Bishop, who was a rookie safety who didn't really play that much. He got hurt last season. Taylor Rapp just went on IR, who's a serviceable in the box type safety who's made some plays. But you're relying on a guy who just came back as your first-round pick in Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky. He's going to have to play meaningful snaps. And their other corner that they drafted in the mid-rounds is out for the season with a neck injury, Dorian Strong out of Vatech. So it's they have some major injuries. If a smart offensive coordinator or team with talent like the Chiefs, weapons they have, wants to wants to air it out, they are going to have some serious problems trying to defend the pass. No one's tried it yet, quite frankly. But I feel like that's going to be a major problem. So I think this is the weakest the unit has been in McDermott's tenure as coach.
Yeah,
and go ahead, Austin. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I'm the defensive guy, which makes no sense, right? I have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes playing every Sunday for me, and I like defense. And, I love Josh Allen and James Cook and that offense, but part of what I loved was, which one of these good defense, in the past, which one of these good defenses was going to make that play. And like that 13-second game, honestly, no defense made plays. Like each offense just got what they wanted, and it literally came down to just who had the ball last. But that was always one of my favorite things going into this. It's like, we know the offenses are good. Now, which one of these really good defenses is going to make a play? And this year, it could still happen, right? Like, I'm not saying the Bills are not capable of making plays on defense. Like, that's just, it's rude.
They're opportunistic. They have made some, but you're right.
Yes, exactly. So I don't want to say I'm more confident going into this game than I am most years, but I think I'm a little more happy that the Bills defense on paper and through performance in the eye test so far hasn't been what we're used to. So
That's fair.
That's why I was like, as Bills Mafia, I figured that would kind of be my main concern, because you got to have some sort of a defense to win, right? Like, we can look at the Cowboys-Broncos game last week. Cowboys offense is flying high. They have Swiss cheese and wet paper for defense. So they stood no chance in that game with the Broncos.
Yeah, it's because
No,
they're
I don't
starting
wanna say-
Zaire Elam at cornerback. Bills fans know that too
Cast
well.
off.
I know the Chiefs got to really enjoy that in the AFC Championship game.
They
this
weren't good
past
enough for the
year,
Bills'
so,
shitty secondary. What do you think is going to happen?
But
right?
that's what I mean. And like, I'm not saying Bills defense is that bad, because I'm not going to disrespect a lot of defenses like that, comparing them to the Cowboys. But that's the main thing I've noticed from the Bills so far this year. So I wanted to try to get your guys'.
Well, they don't get out the field on third downs
Yep.
habitually.
They can make some big plays on first and second down, but like Sean was saying, they just cannot get off the field. They will be very soft in their zone coverage. Like, all they want to do is just not get beat, or like have a guy get behind them. But
That's how you get
they have too big of a cushion, and their tackling has just been really lacking this year. And it's just led to just some real breaking plays on third down, and sometimes leading to scoring plays too, of course. But like, the games against the Patriots come to mind, even just a few early games in the season. And it was a problem last year too, like especially if you looked at one of like those really great shootouts that they had against the Rams. Like, not obviously, like they've had a little bit of turnover from players on that defense, but still the same problems persisted. And you just wonder, like, did Bobby Babich like not really try to evolve the scheme a bit more? Is it more to it than that? Is it personnel? Excuse me, but the defense has indeed been frustrating.
Let me say one quick thing about that, because Chris brought up a good point, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but something that did happen this past week in the Carolina game is Bobby Babich. Say whatever you want about him. I don't really have like a real strong opinion on him at this point. He's been their D coordinator for 2 years, but it's been said that Sean McDermott did decide to take back defensive play calling on a play-by-play basis starting this past game. And the defense did look quite a bit better. Obviously, granted, I know it's the Panthers, but
when you could dominate a team, you could dominate a team, and it can show that way. So, just
exactly.
I mean, again, Cody, sorry to put you on the fodder there too, but I mean, like, if you could dominate a team like the Chiefs showed, like, even though I'm not gonna lie, the Chiefs are always cruel to the Raiders, because they always do like those little, like, they did the merry-go-round play a couple of years ago and they scored on it, and they did like this play never works when they do the hard count. Like, they're just cruel.
They do, and then shit happens to them, like they lose on Christmas Day. So
then you get us on Christmas Day. The one I do want to ask, just to have a little AFC West tie into it, because I enjoyed when he was in the AFC West, but now that he's on the Bills, I'm curious. You guys probably watched most of, if not all full Bills games, correct?
Oh yeah, start to finish.
So how often is Joey Bosa on the sideline during like critical time?
he's been out there. We paid him. We gave him a nice size contract, like 1 year.
Yeah, has he?
So
okay,
he's been playing against the run. He's been out there like most downs. Yeah.
So the first few games, like, they've had to use him more because the D line obviously has been gashed with injuries. Michael Hoyt, he was the big pickup as a free agent this past offseason, along with Larry Ogunjobi for the D line. They just got off from their suspension, and that, I think, kind of helped kind of like bolster the D line a bit. But before then, Joey Bosa was out there a lot on early downs, like on first and second down. He's not very good at setting the edge on run plays, but if they could really just have him get dialed in on like those obvious passing downs and really just like rationing him out just to make sure like he stays healthy for the duration of the year, I think he could still be a lot more lethal. But I mean, this year against the run, Bosa hasn't exactly been the greatest, but still,
well,
a whole lot worse out there.
Yeah, for the Chargers, we always notice in critical times, late in games, he would always take himself out on those crucial downs where you're like, this is where I want my $100 million pass rusher to not take himself out. So that's why I was curious on, because Bills Mafia, if there's one thing that the team embraces as well as the fan base, it's kind of that effort, right? Like you always give effort, that grit, that kind of try hard mentality. When I saw that signing, I was curious because, like, yes, he's a good pass rusher, but I didn't think he fit like the vibe of what Bills and Bills Mafia is about. So I was curious. Obviously, I don't watch full Bills games unless they're prime time. But I was curious on how often he was deciding not to be a part of critical moments on defense.
So I don't think it's just a matter of like him deciding it. I mean, it's just the Bills D-line, like for years under the Sean McDermott defensive system, they've always been rotational. And even when they did their big swing, when they got Von Miller a couple of years ago, like obviously like that was a big move. Like there was a couple of years ago, they had the regular season game where on like the game deciding play, Von Miller is the one who causes the pressure to cause Mahomes to kind of have that bobble ball lead to an interception for Taron Johnson. I think that was like the game like the matchup after the 13-second game. But still, Von Miller left after being injured with the torn ACL his second year. I mean, he wasn't really the same player even after that.
No,
like,
not even close.
And then, like, again, that was their big swing. They paid a ton of money to him. And obviously, team realized that you got to still have some bite on that pass rush there, which is why they went for Joey Bosa, thinking because, hey, if he's looking to still try and win a championship, like I think he just wanted to change the scenery after being with the Chargers for so long.
Makes sense.
I mean, yeah, right. I was going to say.
We don't have any problems with Bosa, right, Chris? I mean, I would say honestly, although he's been coming
very
on
serviceable.
I'm saying I'm more pissed off about Greg Rousseau right now. We paid him way more money. We gave him a long-term contract. And I don't even think he might not. Does he have a sack this year?
He has a couple sacks. I mean, but like again, he goes just so far in between for how long he makes like a real game-changing play. I mean, looking again back at the AFC Championship game this past year, like Rousseau was just blanked entirely, and like his reasoning behind that was the Chiefs just had plays and schemes.
They showed stuff we didn't see on film. Oh, okay.
Is it Epineza?
Epinesa, yeah, he's one of the other edge rushers. He's had a solid season. He overperforms on his contract, but he's always
he was an effort guy. I was curious. He always seemed like an effort guy, which
he's an Iowa kid. So yeah, he's
I love those kids.
Lunch.
He's always the subject to a lot of trade talks. Like, I mean, he gets underrated. I mean, I personally trashed him too, of course, but at the same time, he's been a fine part for the edge rusher and defensive end room so far. So I mean, we generally like you said. The defense has left a lot to be desired.
Right.
And if they can have what would be, like we started off the show, be able to play up as a measuring stick game against the Chiefs with their, again, really powerful offense, whether it's just in their run game or against the pass, I mean, this will be a big time to show, like, can they really hang with some of these elite teams in the NFL? But now just kind of sticking with the defensive side of the ball, now it's kind of going towards the Chiefs side of things. So Steve Spagnuolo, again, always finding creative ways, again, to give the Bills fits over the years. I mean, you look at, again, just talking about the AFC Championship game again, where that blitz package that really just was the game-deciding play leading to, like, that quick scramble from Allen before he was about to get knocked to the turf, leading to that drop by Kincaid. I mean, it's not something they've seen before. But then also disguised blitz packages. Spagnuolo's a big blitzer for his defensive coverages. Disguised coverages in the secondary just to kind of see what he can manipulate and try and just trick any opposing quarterback out there just to see, because the secondary room with Trent McDuffie is obviously a pretty strong fit for you guys there. But for the Chiefs side of things, what have been some strengths from your side of things, Austin, for the Chiefs so far on defense this season, and what might be some areas of concern?
Yeah, first of all, Josh Allen still made a play there, and that ball should have been caught.
You're telling us.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, yes, we can say that was a good blitz, but, like, Josh still got, given the situation, a damn good pass up, and that's a play that has to be made. Anyway, it's kind of crazy. You talk about Spags and his blitz packages. I'm going to tell a story from one of the players we had on, Kawika Mitchell. He won a Super Bowl with the Giants when
former Bill as well, by the way.
Yeah. our guy. But he won the Super Bowl with the Giants when they beat the undefeated Patriots. And they had a blitz look that they were doing all year where Kawika Mitchell would come up and line up between the guard and the center. And like half the season, he would always drop out. And he finally told Spags, he's like, Spags, am I ever going to blitz? And Spags was just like, you're going to keep dropping. Just do what I say. Well, in the Super Bowl, Tom Brady and them studied that, right? So he walked Kawika Mitchell up to that, and he finally told Kawika Mitchell, this is the time you're going. So when the Patriots saw him up there, they actually didn't account for him. He went untouched, sacked Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, was actually a key reason that they beat the Patriots. I think he had double-digit tackles, had that sack. But that's kind of the wizardry where the whole season, Spags was actually setting it up for the big moment.
Wow.
Because these people look at film, they look at tendencies, and the tendency was whenever Kawika Mitchell does this, he drops back into coverage.
Wow.
And the one time in the big game, Spags said, Kawika, now you're going. So that's kind of the wizardry that he has.
The Bills coaches don't do stuff like that.
No, and it
hurts.
No,
it hurts.
It's one of my favorite things, honestly, because I don't know. I love good defense, but I like when it's different. Like we see these blitzes from the Chiefs, and I think to just like the normal eye, they all look the same, but they're not. It could be two corners here with the DN dropping out this time. Well, now it's a corner from each side and a D tackle's dropping to the middle. Like it's different every time, even though it just seems like it's chaos every time. So I love his wizardry. As far as concern goes, it's actually pass rush without the blitzes. George Karlaftis, he's top 5 in the league with pressures. I know that's not a lot, but that means he's at least doing his job. But there's nobody else who's showing up to be another part of that. We can say Chris Jones. Chris Jones is a large reason that George can eat. Chris has taken up a lot of double and triple teams, but you got to have somebody else who can win opposite of George. So the pass rush without blitzing is what I would say is the weakest for Chiefs defense. Knowing that if they're just bringing their front line, your quarterback's going to have some time. I mean, we did that against the Commanders, and Mariota could just be a statue back there. And even he moved the ball pretty well. Not to say he's a scrub or anything, but Josh Allen is significantly better than Marcus Mariota. If Josh Allen can just stand back there for 5 seconds, I know you guys have separation issues at receiver. Somebody will get open because you can't stick with them that long. I do think a strength is linebackers. We go 3 deep easily. We've been playing Shamari Connor as kind of a hybrid linebacker, which I would say is a weakness because he's not the greatest cover guy. But if you just look at Tranquil, Chanel, and Nick Bolton, we're able to lock down tight ends and running backs really well. I was going to even say the secondary, but Watson stepped up. McDuffie's obviously a former All-Pro. Noel Williams, when teams go into 3 receiver set, he's a rookie we drafted. He's actually been dominant. He's only allowed 25% completion percentage when targeted. The one game he got a lot of snaps, he covered Amon-Ra St. Brown. And St. Brown did catch all 4 of his targets, but they were for 7 yards. So,
yeah, they bottled up the Lions that entire game. And not to mention, just even in the Lions running game, that was stifled quite a bit too. And the ridiculous goal line sequence in addition to that as well. I mean, it was an impressive display by the Chiefs defense for what they did to the Lions. And we have a soft spot for the Lions. We talk about it all the time. Our dad's diehard Lions fan. Obviously, he likes the Bills too, just being in Buffalo, but that's his team. So, I mean,
hey,
we
Chris,
got a soft spot for them.
I got a quick question for Chris real quick. Just after hearing Austin talk about the defense, I think this is like a microcosm of the Bills defense. Chris, what's the Bills' strength on defense?
Man,
you give me a position group, you can give me anything. I'll wait.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to
right?
think. I mean, I could tell you a single player. I mean, Deion Walker, despite being a rookie.
Oh, rookie? Rookie D tackle.
Yeah,
great.
Despite being a rookie, he's been sensational so far. He's caused a lot of disruption, a lot of key plays that have been leading to turnovers have been all because of him. I mean, he's been a nice bright spot overall. I mean, we talked a little bit about the edge rushers. I mean, lately they've been pretty good, but at the same time, just overall as a collective unit, like every single part of the Bills defense has been leaving a lot to be desired.
That's right. I hear Austin talk about his all-pro corner and his linebackers being a strength. I'm like, well, our linebackers aren't good. Our corners and our safeties aren't good, and our D-line's meh.
It's like Dumb and Dumber. It's like our pets' heads are falling off.
Right.
Yeah, and no, I'm actually curious because Chiefs haven't given up a 100-yard game to a running back in like 38 games I saw.
That may happen.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of strength versus strength right now where Chiefs have been real. I mean, we did good against the Lions run game because they're more of a power run game, and that's how you're not going to outpower a run game the Chiefs. That's kind of how the defense is built.
Right. We got to hit you with some like misdirection, like cutback lanes, and
use the athleticism and stuff. So if there was, I thought Gibbs was going to be that.
Right.
But James Cook is a little more power and speed.
And he wasn't always like that. He got that.
Yeah, he falls forward though for being a small guy. Like I've always been impressed, like watching him, like from his time at Georgia. I watched him a lot, being a Georgia fan, and then like in this starting last season and now this year, he started to like fall forward a lot. Even like running through tackles, like with like 2 or 3 guys on him, he always falls forward, which is surprising for a guy who's not very big in stature.
I mean, he got the Angry Runs Award for the week, so he's obviously like he's running with some force.
He's elite. He's a running back that I don't think enough people are talking about. I think he's been your best player for a couple years. Well, outside of Josh Allen, obviously.
100%. Since Diggs left, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think even that, like James Cook, he's a difference maker. Like people always talk Saquon and Derrick Henry. Like, yes, those dudes are good. Different kind of running back, but like James Cook is just as effective.
Those guys, Saquon and Derrick Henry, are starting to age out a little too. I mean, Saquon's probably still got a couple good years, but I mean, like, it's been a down year for Derrick Henry. I mean, other than like the first game against the Bills where he just ran all over him, of course, but still, like, ever since then, it hasn't been the same.
Yeah, it's death, taxes, and Derrick Henry against the Bills. Things you can count on. Right? Like that's how that goes. But
even back to his time on the Titans, you can count on it.
So I'm a big James Cook fan. I think. I love that it's strength versus strength. I think if Cook is able to go, it doesn't matter how high-powered Chiefs offense is. If you can get Cook going, that shortens the game. Obviously, shortening the game means your defense is on the field less. And to us outsiders, Bills defense on the field less looks like success. But, Chiefs linebackers, front 7, it's their strength.
So Adam saying, respect to Austin for understanding the myth known as Cook. You can be a Bills fan. It's okay.
Hey, like we love Bills Mafia. Like I've always liked the Bills and Josh Allen, but once, we had Matt Prater on and then he signed with the Bills. Like I've been rooting for the Bills every week except this week. I'm sorry. Like,
no, that's fair.
Understandable.
That's fair.
Understandable.
There was a time too, which is crazy. Real quick, I'll tell you is between like Chris Maz and I. And I think I would say the majority of Bills Mafia, before Cook signed his extension before the season started, were like, nah, he's not worth the money.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine if they let him go?
Everybody was thinking like, oh, we'll be fine with Ray Davis.
We'll find someone.
Just had his first touchdown against the Falcons 2 weeks ago.
Ray Davis isn't bad.
No, he's not. But he's not James Cook.
He's not. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have the eyesight of James Cook and just that next
Cook's
level
vision.
speed.
Cook's vision is, I think, what he has. That's an elite trait.
Yeah,
and you can tell for times when he's. Oh, sorry, but go ahead.
No, I was just say I like Ray Davis. Like even if you just do a combo of them for an entire game, like Josh Allen throws 15 passes and Cook and Ray Davis both get like 20 plus touches. I think that's your best recipe.
Yeah. I mean, you're still, Ty Johnson last year still being part of that running back room. Like he's been non-existent and even just the Bills passing game to running backs. We and a lot of discourse has been around, like, if you feature them a little bit more, that could add a little bit more to the weapon set for the Bills receivers, but still that's from your running back room. But the other piece, I'm trying to remember what I was saying with Cook. Oh, with his breakaway speed, like in the last 4 games at least, like there's been a couple times where somebody gets him by a shoelace, and had that not happened, he would have taken it to the house. He's been easily one of their most dominant backs, I think, since like LaShawn McCoy. And and I mean, people forget,
with more speed. With more speed,
and less fumbling problems.
Oh not holding the ball out like this with one hand. So
loaf of bread. He did the loaf of bread carry.
Loaf of bread. But yeah, just kind of one more thing about the Chiefs. We'll take a quick word from our sponsor as well. But kind of talking about the defense, but more like off-field stuff here. So Chris Jones came under fire on that Monday Night Football game against the Jags a few weeks back, just from that lack of effort being perceived on the game-sealing touchdown run from Trevor Lawrence, even though he just basically tripped over himself and lucked himself into that. That was an absurd sequence of a play. But then he gets into the spotlight, rather the team itself just gets into the spotlight on off-field stuff, from anything to whether it's Taylor Swift appearances. I'm sure that's been interesting just to watch from your perspective as a Chiefs fan, to whether it's unfortunate decisions made by Rashee Rice, others on the team in the past as well. So, I mean, between those early losses, obviously, like, the team was really, like, at odds with each other, too. Like, the battle-hardening games of the past, I mean, whether it's a Super Bowl win, a Super Bowl loss, or just some gritty playoff matches. I mean, the Bills gave them plenty. And just every potential offseason distraction that they could have. Do you think this Chiefs locker room can truly overcome just about any challenge that kind of comes their way?
I do. For the main reason of Andy Reid. You go back to his days in Philly. He was the one, gave Mike Vick a chance. Everyone thought that couldn't work, and it went fine. That was a huge distraction. He took on T.O. We all knew how T.O. was. Like, I don't want to say he was bad in the locker room, but Andy Reid kept it good enough. I think as long as Andy Reid's here, I do think the locker room can overcome anything. And not to be that guy, but Patrick Mahomes is also one hell of a leader, just because he's seen Andy Reid for, ever now. So I think between Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and even Chris Jones, what happened there, but he's still a good locker room leader. I think when you have just people like that in there, there's honestly, I don't want to say nothing, because, somebody goes on like a murdering spree or just something like completely like unacceptable. I don't know what that would do to the locker room. But just your normal stuff that they've been dealing with, their locker room has been fine. Yes, they've had some, Travis Kelce on the sideline. Andy Reid, not a lot of coaches would have handled it like Andy Reid. And I think Andy Reid handling it how he did is why it was there and then it was gone. Like, they talked about it for a day or two, and then nobody was, oh, okay, Andy Reid's fine, we're good. So as long as Big Red's at the helm, that locker room has nothing to worry about.
Just give him a cheeseburger after the game. It sounds like all things will be solved.
Or his nuggies. Give me those nuggies.
Yes, exactly.
You guys get those State Farm commercials? I guess I didn't know if that was local.
Oh, do we get those State Farm commercials? Yes, we do. Yes.
Just making sure.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, as much as like your eyes roll sometimes, like the first couple times you saw that was a pretty good chuckle. Like he's like buying into the fact that, like, hey, I'm just here for the food, guys. So that was, I mean, again, obviously the first few times you see it, but then as soon as like you see it every other commercial, then it gets a little ad nauseum.
Even as Chiefs fans, I'm like, okay, like, this isn't going to help people's like how they perceive us. Let's move on. There's other players.
We're starting to feel that with Josh Allen's ads this year too, obviously after the MVP season from last year. So, I mean, just like, dude, to get a little bit more productivity on the field. I mean, obviously not everybody thinks that, but like there's been some little consensus of that, especially these last few weeks where it's been a little lackluster. But before we kind of continue, just thanks to those tuning in. We're at about just over 921 viewers. Love to see that. So thanks to all of those for the engagement as well. And keep on chiming in with your comments, too, for the guys here on this West War Room Podcast Roundtable. So, but now a quick word from our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. So, hey, for you hockey folks out there tuning in, especially to the West War Rooms folks, hey, I know there's some Blues fans out there, and hey, maybe some Avs fans listening to the Denver folks, and maybe to some of those California teams. But hey, hockey's back. This season, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, skill, and nonstop action you love. The DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NHL right to your fingertips. From player props to the thrill of live in-game betting, every drop of the puck is your shot to win big. So, obviously, I'll kind of defer a little bit to Bills Chiefs as this being the bigger part of our show too. Right now, the Chiefs are favored by 1.5 right now. So the Bills are slight dogs at home. So not the first time that's happened. They were dogs against the Ravens at the start of the season too. But hey, should be a classic all the same. But easily my place to go to for any betting odds out there. But for new customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $300 in bonus bets instantly. Light the lamp or see your touchdown dreams come true if you're watching football all season long with DraftKings. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. Gentlemen, that one's for you as well. So that's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets and that's if your bet wins. And that's in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. And for the disclaimer, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And in New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. And in Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. And on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois, and 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction, and then that's void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days, and minimum odds are required. And for additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. And that is a limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. Yeah, I had to get used to reading that mouthful. That is the disclaimer there. But hey, make sure you do the
Nice applause.
Yeah, hell of an ad read there. Good job, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But hey, for those who are watching on the side, the biggest sporting event of the night, obviously you have the World Series. 3-1 Blue Jays into the, I believe it is going into the
I can't
seventh
see what
inning.
inning is. Is it
About to be,
seventh?
I think they're about to head into the 7th inning. So anything can happen. I mean, you might see another 18-inning a real thriller again.
That was something, right?
Yeah, that was wild. But anyway, now to kind of shift things over to Matt and Cody. Now you guys can get some love in here. Of course.
Yeah,
No.
let's go.
Broncos and Raiders having some very different seasons from one another, just still sticking with the AFC West. One being a division leader, of course, the Denver Broncos, and the other, unfortunately, in the complete opposite direction. Not to, again, make you just like beating you with a dead horse here, likely drafting again in the top 10 or higher. So each of you guys, Matt and Cody, tell us what have been some really standout moments and some really noteworthy discussion points on each team, of course, and what the outlook is for the remainder of the season. I mean, is it division title or bust? Is it let's draft the best quarterback prospect available in the draft? I mean, just being realistic here, what do you guys see as what can be going forward for both the Broncos and the Raiders?
Matt, you go ahead.
Sure. So the big standout for me is obviously the Broncos defense. I mean, they've been really getting to the quarterback. I mean, they lead the league in sacks. They have 36 sacks. They got to Dak twice. And that was something I was concerned about last week, is how Denver's defensive front was going to do against that offensive line. That's a team that's only given up 8 sacks all year. So I was kind of worried about, all right, are they going to get to Dak? Are they going to get the pressures? Nick Bonito, the week before, he didn't really do anything against the Giants, and I expected him to have a big game there. He really wasn't too involved last week as well, but he was in the backfield. And then Riley Moss, that's been the story. And that was the huge matchup. That was something I was really worried about. Riley Moss going up against George Pickens. Pickens obviously having a great year. Going into that game, 36 receptions, 600 yards, 6 touchdowns. And I was worried, how was Riley Moss going to hold his own against an elite receiver? Because everyone remembers that Bengals game. He's coming back from the knee injury, and T. Higgins just made him look like a D3 corner from, Sycamore Bishop, right? If everyone remembers that, the school that doesn't exist, right? And I was really concerned for that, but he held his own. And it wasn't just him. Pat Surtain was out most of the game, and you had Chris Abrams-Strain come in. And then you had Jahdae Barron, who was Denver's first pick, get his first career interception. Jaquan McMillan held his own as well. So these are guys that have kind of been on and off, struggling all year. And to go up against the number one offense and do what they did, holding Dak to just 188 yards, getting 2 interceptions off of it, it was impressive, you know. So that's really been the story. But Bo Nix, he's finding his rhythm. He's standing tall in the pocket now. Early on in the season, he would bail out of a clean pocket. You'd see he'd have a good pocket, and he's seeing ghosts, and he wants to take off and run. He's not setting his feet. He's jumping in the air, trying to make these Pat Mahomes-like plays. And, dude, just be Bo Nix. Just be Bo Nix. Stand tall in the pocket, set your feet, let it go. And he did. He put up 4 touchdowns, you know. So that's really just been the story. It's just their defense and how Bo Nix has been able to rise to the occasion, find his rhythm. lead his offense, and just, if he makes a mistake, it's fire and forget. It's like it didn't happen.
Nice. I did have a follow-up question for you, Matt. So just shameless self-plug. So our other podcast, we talk a lot about sports betting and whatnot, but we also have a sports card company, like memorabilia and whatnot, called Summit Sports Cards. And I am a big fan of Troy Franklin, who's definitely been balling out over the last couple of weeks, been getting in long plays. Obviously, he's kind of that deep threat. But I really wanted to kind of talk again on the offensive side and ask you about Bo Nix. Obviously, and I brought up the cards since too. I have a ton of rookie cards, even some autos and whatnot of Franklin, but also huge Bo Nix fan. Coming out, have a ton of his cards. So selfishly, I want him to do really good just because of that. But there was kind of this narrative, I will say, and just what I heard, and maybe this is just from Bills people and Bills Mafia and maybe other pockets of fans around the league, but it's like we all thought that Bo Nix, definitely had the ceiling of being kind of like the next guy, like with Josh and Mahomes and Jaden Daniels, obviously after last season. But he was right there, maybe a guy who's like a top 5 to 10 quarterback, an elite quarterback that can win you games just with his talent, just alone. And there was kind of like the way that the season started off. I feel like people were like, oh, well, he's hitting this the second year wall. He's doing the second year slump. So how have you seen him kind of progress? Obviously, he had went gangbusters in the fourth quarter of the other game and put a ton of points up as of late. How have you kind of see his progression, head to head against that narrative where people are like, oh, he's not playing well, and then kind of where he is now about a third of the way through the season? And what do you think? Do you still think he has the ceiling of like a top 5 quarterback?
I think he has potential to get there. I don't see him as top 5. I see him as top 5 in second year quarterbacks. Just what he's able to do. Sure. I think he definitely has potential to be a top 5 quarterback. And Corey and I, we talked in the beginning of the season, and we think he's going to, surpass Justin Herbert at some point, possibly this year. And looking at his stats, so right now, Nix has 44 career touchdown passes, and the record is set by Justin Herbert with 69. And if he keeps putting up these 4 touchdown games with 9 games left in the season, there's potential that he could surpass that and break that record. And is he a top 5 right now? By no means necessary. Will he get there? I think so. And I like his confidence. I like that his leadership, and even the veteran players, Courtland Sutton, are coming to him. Evan Ingram are coming to him, and he's giving them guidance as a second-year quarterback. And that's something this Denver offense has been lacking, is like that leadership. I mean, again, you look at Russ, and he comes in, he's full of himself, brings his entourage, wants his own office. You want to talk to him, you got to set up a meeting with them. And Bo's not about that. I mean, look how unified this team is since bringing Bo Nix in. Like the quarterbacks, they all hang out together. The receivers,
and look where Russell Wilson is now.
And look where Russ is right now. Still thinking there's a bounty gate on him because Sean Payton said I wanted to play him instead of Jackson Dart. So I love his leadership, and his leadership is still growing. He's still getting there. He's only a second-year quarterback. He's not going to be perfect. Even Josh Allen really didn't start taking off until about year 3, maybe 4. And then
year 3 was the coming out party.
Right.
End of year 2 into year 3.
The thing is, and Bo has weapons, man. Like you guys have legit weapons.
Mm-hmm. The other now on the other side of the coin of that though is Denver is 3rd in the league in drop passes. And perfect example, Courtland Sutton, gets the OPI happens, and then the next play hits him in the numbers and he drops it. And that's why we're 3rd in the league. So he has weapons, but he doesn't have help, because you're getting inconsistent play. And I think if these guys can play consistent, the run game with Dobbins is getting established better. I mean, he just had 100 yards. RJ Harvey went off that game as well. And if that run back duo, Evan Ingram and these receivers, Marvin Mims, Courtland Sutton, Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant even, and if they can play consistent, you're going to look at a more threatening offense on your schedule. And that's going to make you nervous.
Absolutely. I have one quick question for you to end this for me. Knowing obviously we played each other last year was the wild card game. Under over, do you see them going farther this year, or same or less?
I see them getting one playoff win.
That's an
I
improvement.
see them doing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see them getting one
I see it
playoff
too.
win. I can see them at least making a divisional game, like the division title game.
Nice.
And I can see them doing that. And it would be nice to see a quarterback since Tim Tebow get a playoff win. That's the one stat that's still hanging over our
That
head
is
right now.
Unreal. Obviously,
Yeah.
besides Peyton Manning, too, of course. Can't forget that
Yep.
in between. But still, yeah, that's wild. Everybody
Yeah.
forgets that Tim Tebow magical win over the Steelers.
Mm-hmm. And Tim Tebow to this day is still the only Broncos quarterback drafted by the Broncos to get a playoff win.
Wow.
So we got to change that. And I think it changes this season. If they can continue this upward trend that they're on, they don't have that hangover. Obviously, they have a tough defense going into Houston. The last time the Broncos were on a 5-game win streak, they went into Houston. They had a chance to win it. They get down to the goal line, and, Rusty, whatever, he throws the pick in the end zone and shatters mine and Corey's hopes and dreams right there. So I'm hoping for a better outcome, but
That was a wet fart of an offensive year for them.
It
Yeah,
really was.
Yeah. It's good.
exactly. And there's a huge, you have a better tight end, you have better running backs this year. So there's definitely marked improvement.
Yeah, I want to like the point of view from like a division rival, just because I think Broncos are more of our rival than the Raiders because a rival has to have two good teams. Boom, got the
The
Raiders.
hate never ends. The hate never ends. These
It
poor
doesn't.
Raiders.
No, but I actually
I'm gonna
think-
start charging premium on that rent that we're having in your head right now. So
It'll be more than the plays you guys had against the Chiefs. Anyway, I think Denver's defense, if the offense comes around a little bit, I think Denver's defense can actually get them to a Super Bowl. As a divisional rival, that's how I feel about Denver. Their defense can easily.
I agree.
It could be like that Niners team that had Kaepernick, where the offense kind of had their moments, but that defense was like, let's be honest, that
Right.
defense was.
That's what
Right.
got
The
them.
offense just don't fuck it up. Don't turn the ball over.
Yes.
Just
Yeah,
Get
not
first
quite
downs.
OT Ravens defense where Trent Dilfer can win a Super Bowl,
Oh,
but a really good defense. So I think the offense can put it together. I do think the Broncos are legitimately a Super Bowl threat.
I mean, hey,
Agreed.
you heard it here first. That's a take that not many people probably would have heard, especially in Bills country, of course, because again, Broncos have been more or less like not necessarily out of sight, out of mind, but like the race for that 1 seed is what a lot of folks in Western New York were really like clamoring for this year, because that's like the one thing like for the regular season that the Bills haven't really achieved. Like they've been the 2 for a number of years with Josh Allen. They even had the 3 the year the 13 seconds game, of course, but still like the 1 seed has just been that real elusive thing. And the Bills know, like, if they get that, they'll be able to have that much more rest for their players. The fear of injury will kind of go out the window. But I mean, the 1 seed is really up in the air, I think, truly. I mean, the Colts being the biggest surprise of all, with Danny Dimes now being Indiana Jones. He just kind of evolved into that version of himself. I mean, that's probably the biggest story of all. I mean, and going back to the Broncos, like they were just a really questionable penalty call away from really taking that one away, and they gifted the Broncos 15 yards gifted the Colts 15 yards to be able to seal that field goal right away. So that could have been another loss in the column for Indianapolis at this point. But still, the AFC, like, it could really go in many different directions at this point. But again, not to do a quick heel turn, a direction that it will not go will be towards the Raiders. So Cody,
all right.
Cody, I mean,
There we
I want to make sure that you get your due here, of course.
Sure.
But like, obviously, things haven't gone your way. Pete Carroll's first year as Raiders head coach, of course.
We love
He brings
Pete.
in a lot of familiar faces too. Not to mention, Schneider taking a pitch from Snell right there. And Snell's been in there a while. Just doing a
Still
quick
3-1.
sidebar World Series, yeah. But
3-1
still,
corners
for the
down the
Raiders,
corner.
That's how boring the
Ashton
Ravens
Jeanty.
are.
Yeah.
Ashton Jeanty has been.
Interrupt your question.
Yeah, sorry about that. Ashton Jeanty, like, it's been a hell or high water whether he can get the touches or just the holes open from his offensive line, which has also left a lot to be desired for him. But overall, your takes on the team so far this year, do you think, again, with Pete Carroll being as old as he is, do you think he can be like the answer for the next few years? Like he's a good, like, culture guy. Like, I mean, the Seahawks were good for number of years while he was there. Obviously, winning one Super Bowl, making it to the next. I mean, what are your takeaways so far? Again, obviously, it's not going to be exactly like the season that you want. And the Raiders have really gone through a lot of tough times, especially after Derek Carr leading them to the playoffs a couple seasons. Mm-hmm. And I mean, let's hear your thoughts on this, Cody, just because, again, you're probably looking to see which quarterback prospects are looking best out of college this year.
Well, actually, to answer that, I'm just looking for this coaching staff to turn the culture around before we get quarterback. Doesn't matter what quarterback we brought in, because we brought in Geno Smith, which for Raider fans, we thought it was an upgrade from AOC. And come to find out, I'm kind of glad AOC is coming off of IR, because, hey, if we get him in the game, maybe we'll be competitive. But I'm going to try to answer your question without crashing out, because it happens pretty often in this season for the Raiders. But, I think for Raider fans and me specifically, a lot of the optimism coming in was Pete Carroll, a culture guy, just like what you had said. And what we'd had prior with AP, first-time head coach, really doesn't have an identity of what he wants to do as a coach. And then we had Josh McDaniels, which half of the Rivals co-hosts here have experienced Josh McDaniels as well. So we kind of already know that road that we've all been down. So to get Pete Carroll, at least I was hoping to see the Raiders, very similar to week 1 when we played the Patriots, where we were coached, we were disciplined. Granted, running the ball was a little bit tough, but Mike Vrabel, he's a hell of a coach, and that Patriots defense is very good. So it's very hard to run on them in general. But, during our offense, we were able to move the ball a little bit. Geno looked confident throwing the ball. We had Brock Bowers. We were getting guys involved. And then as weeks gone on, it's just Geno Smith has just been this turnover machine. And what I've seen in the last couple of weeks has been Geno Smith doesn't throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field. Or if he does, it's a very blatantly wide open 7-yard hitch, and then he's hitting the guy, but he's not challenging throws down the field. And in the NFL, you can't just go so much of just these small under the line of scrimmage throws and then hope that you turn it up for yardage, especially if you don't have the players that can do that. Unfortunately, my Broncos co-host here, Sean Payton, will dial up a receiver screen and they're tearing their hair out because it's being stopped. We need to evolve this a little bit because it's getting predictable. Geno Smith is becoming that. Chip Kelly being the offensive coordinator, we're seeing right now that his scheme just doesn't work in the NFL. It may have worked in Oregon 10, 15 years ago. It doesn't work today. You can say he did a so-so job at UCLA, and, I'm sure Corey over here could have coached, Ohio State and would have won also a national championship because that just had a loaded roster. So, to get Chip Kelly and just see that he's not made for the NFL, he's not up there. I think this season is just what can Pete do to get guys to buy in? Obviously, we signed Tyler Lockett off of free agency once he was released by the Titans. I'm not saying that he's going to impact anything, but maybe he helps the culture there. And we'll see. With Pete Carroll's age, I mentioned this on one of our first episodes together, that I don't think Pete Carroll's going to want to drag this out for 5 to 7 years, because I don't even think he has that many years left in him. He's going to need to put his best foot forward this season. And right now, for Raider fans and for me as well, it's not a great first year. But I'm going to do another name drop like Austin's been doing most of the show. Is we had Dick Vermeil on a couple of weeks ago, and I had asked him very similarly, hey, look, my Raiders aren't doing so well. Pete Carroll under fire a little bit. What advice would you give Raider fans for struggling right now? He goes, just think of it like this. What is happening right now is fertilizer for the future. Since I've heard that phrase from the man himself, I've been like, all right, this is fertilizer. And now every week I'm just thinking, we have a lot of freaking fertilizer, and we need to start, planting some seeds around here and not just collecting dirt, because right now that's all we're doing.
I was going to say, I like that take on there, just because, again, the culture building part. And I know Sean wants to talk about this next part, especially Carroll.
Well, we also got a real nice comment that you guys can read as I'm rattling this off. But I will tell you this, Cody, a good friend of ours, a personal friend, and also a friend of our pod, Marcus Dowden. He played at Georgia, linebacker. He played for the Giants, the Jets, the Bills. Ended up finishing his career on the Seahawks, and I had him on the pod a couple months back, just before the season, kind of doing like a season type, like preview type thing. And I said, what could you tell us about Pete Carroll? And he had nothing but like the utmost amazing things to say about the guy. We talked about I know he's an older guy, but he has an aura. He kept talking about the aura that Pete Carroll has. He comes across as like a younger guy.
Right.
He is a leader of men. both like in the locker room, but also just like as a man, just a solid guy. And Marcus shared a kind of an intimate story about he actually got released by the Seahawks and then he got picked up by somebody else. I think he might have actually went to the CFL, but Pete Carroll basically called him into the office and said, like, man, you've done everything that we'd asked for you, and I guarantee you're going to get a call from us when we open up a roster spot, and you'll be back. And he was a man of his word, and they did bring Marcus back. So he just shared some kind of cool stories, and he also basically just said that he didn't know if this year was going to be one that could maybe, go from the ground floor level, especially with the quarterback situation, and build into like a playoff contender this season. But exactly what you kind of just said, he echoed the same thing. Like, this is a guy who's a culture building guy. And we saw it with Seattle. It was basically the same type of situation. So I think you have a lot to look forward to. And I think it'll be interesting to see kind of where things are. You have a couple really good receivers that I would love the Bills to get our hands on. If one should become available at the trade deadline, I'd take for the right
price. The right price, you might get them. But, and to carry on with your point about Pete Carroll, I don't think I'm even worried about Pete Carroll not being able to coach. And I'm not trying to act like here that he's calling the defense or anything like that. He's got coordinators that are doing it. But I think too, as Raider fans, what we were hoping for is, we looked like a pretty decent team, I thought, last year. If we just had a quarterback, maybe we would have put up a better chance in other respects. But this season, when I'm hearing Pete Carroll fire up Raider Nation about we're going to compete, we're going to, fight for a playoff, I win 10 games a year kind of a thing. Like, for Raider fans, we're like, oh, great. This is the attitude we've been looking for. And for that to be nowhere near where we think we should be, I think that's where we get frustrated. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of Raider fans, and I'm not really in that camp yet, that are already calling for Carroll's job, which to me, it's kind of like, then that's the fourth coach in 5 years that we're paying to not coach the Raiders. The last thing we need is to get rid of a coach. And I'm going to just look to everyone on the screen here, because all of your teams have something in common, which is you hold on to your coaches, let culture develop, and then you create continuity in that way. The Raiders, the longest tenured head coach they've had in the last 25 years was John Gruden back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And guess what? We traded him away and got our asses beat the following Super Bowl when we met him there. So, since then, we've had 25 years of obscurity. So I'm looking for this turnaround, and maybe I was naive to think that Carroll was going to do it this season, because that's what he was telling us. But also, too, when I hear Carroll say, man, I didn't realize that we had a lot more work to do, then I'm kind of like, okay, well, did we not evaluate properly, or where are we at with that? Because I want this thing to turn around as quickly as everybody else, but I also want good coaching and good players to execute when they're supposed to.
Firm but fair. I'll just say this. Was this the same franchise that let Mike Mayock be the GM?
Yeah, and the same franchise that traded away Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper. Yes, you're preaching to the choir, brother, because trust me, none of those trades I wanted to get done. We also were the team that drafted Keelan Farrell over a plethora of other guys. I think it was at number 5. So I'm right there with you, dude.
Richmond guy, Cleveland.
Give him another year, man. Give Give him an off season.
We're in it at this point. We're pot committed. We're not jumping off the ship. We're pot committed. So we're in it.
Love it. I'd love to have maybe I could hook you guys up with Marcus. He can come and talk to you and do some Raiders talk with you.
Hell yeah.
By the way, quick World Series update. The Jays now up 5-1. So a lot of pitching discussion. So so everybody here united against the Dodgers. So one thing to unite us all. We were saying this off camera before the show, but we're all for the Jays right now. So we'll love to see it. But to kind of keep things rolling here a bit, one thing we like to do, just football, non-sports related. We do a segment on our show. It's called the Grind My Gears, or the Give Them Their Flowers segment. And what that kind of really is you feel the need to lay some hate, vent something out, or just something's just truly like, as the phrase goes, grinding your gears. You let people have it. It doesn't even need to be sports related, or tying back to one of our other sponsors at the show, Larger Than Life Blooms. You could give people their flowers for something that, whether they're giving you joy in your life or just something that's really just like been meaningful to you lately. So, gentlemen, are you willing to lay some hate, whether it's sports related or not sports related, or do you got a special shout out you got to give to somebody? As also, by the way, thanks again. Now we're at sitting over just over 1,100 viewers. So appreciate y'all tuning in. By the way,
I mean, I definitely have a grind my gears. I really hope nobody at my job is watching, specifically my boss. We actually today. I've never liked the saying, but it happened today, so that's why it's on the top of my mind. It was a saying that you can't have your cake and eat it too. I absolutely hate that because I'm like, why the hell would I have cake and not eat it? Like, I get what
Right.
you're trying to
Yeah,
do,
that's
but
dumb. You're right.
like, why?
Good call.
Okay, so why do I have a cake if I can't eat it? And I don't like that saying. So that's where that was going, because it's like, I have a cake. What did I get this for? Decorations? Like, I'm going to get this cake and I'm going to also eat it because that's why I got it. So, yeah, that's our work meeting went from like a very serious, like, let's take care of shit type deal to me being like, I want to eat this cake if I have it. So, that just happened today. That's why I was able to think of that so quick.
Hey, there you
That's
go.
funny.
Corey,
Nice.
how about yourself?
Let me think on it real quick. Matt, Cody, you guys can go real quick while I think on this for a second.
Matt, do you got one?
I do. It's a grind my gears thing. Now, it won't be on my job. The Navy does frown upon if you talk about your job on social media, but it will be. So the kids that are joining the Navy, like the younger generation, these guys are like 19, 20, and they're coming in with their new words. And one of the words I heard today is drip. And when someone says drip to me, like they're like, you know, my rank is HM2, HM2 Williams, and they're like, HM2, you think my outfit is drip? I'm like, my initial response is, Patrick Starr, where's the leak, ma'am? Like, what does that even mean? What is drip? What are you talking about? My outfit, get with the times. I'm like, no, it's outfit. How does my outfit look? And I'll tell you, you look like a hobo. You look like, you're the Big Lebowski. If you want to say drip, you're talking about a leak. Like, leave me alone. Just stop. it grinds my gears.
That's similar to Chris have been real on the 6'7" bullshit.
So,
I have
Yes.
I'm always wondering, where did that come from? I have no idea.
Right,
We're
teach
too
us
old, guys. We're
And
too old.
honestly,
who
like,
wakes up and says, you know what? Who just woke up and said, you know what I think would be a good idea for my outfit? Drip. And someone's like, that's a good one. Like, who wakes up?
and for your field, Matt, like you're in the military, like your drip is your military fatigues. Like, you're not going to
Yes.
get anything truly unique unless you're wearing like your
Right.
dress outfit. So
Right.
Yeah.
Or like your
They're-
special accommodations, like what are they talking about?
Right.
I'm
No,
telling you, my daily outfit is like, I get dressed like I'm going bowling with hobos. Like, that's my outfit when I'm not in uniform. So
Nice.
That's amazing. Oh yeah. But Cody, how about you? Anything grinding your gears, or you got some flowers to give?
No, I've got to grind my gear. It's passive aggressive email responses. So I'm in an industry where I have to send a lot of emails, and I'm very direct with my emails because I'm in the hospitality industry, to be specific. And in certain departments, I have to give orders to do something to get it done. And normally I have to also email with clients sometimes. And again, my emails aren't long in terms of like words, because I want it to be short, sweet, so you can retain it and then get back to me quickly.
You
And
don't
then
want
when
to
I
have to require a too long didn't read disclaimer.
exactly, I'm not trying to give you a parable of why I'm coming to you. I'm just going to tell you why I need something and what I need. I'm going to be very short, sweet about it. But when I get a passive aggressive thing and I almost like jump out of my computer, like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing here. All right. And then I have to like hold myself back, like, all right, we got to be a little bit professional about this, because I can't just, say anything like, hey, shithead. Like, you can't, I gotta remain professional. So passive aggressive email responses are what grinds my gears for sure.
It's like that whole, per my last email.
Per these
yeah.
fists that you're gonna get. What? Yes,
Yeah.
that's how I
Love
feel.
that.
these bits are about to reply all.
All right, Corey, what do you got?
Yeah, so I'm going to give flowers to my coworkers. This is probably the worst.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The worst time season. I work in youth sports, so I oversee youth sports leagues and fitness class and like sports and all this fun stuff. So it's basketball season's getting ready to start for us, and we have 240 teams total through our whole league, and I'm responsible for scheduling all of them. So it's going to be about 1,500 games, and I had to delete the schedule today. I was about 250, almost 300 games in, and realized I made a boo-boo. So my morning didn't start out very hot, and my coworkers got the brunt of it, and kind of eased everything out for me. So this is the time of year where I have volleyball season wrapping up, basketball season starting. So I'm dealing with two different coaching groups. Volleyball coaches are your chill, laid back, whereas you got your basketball teams who are getting ready to suit up for the, NCAA tournaments and and they want answers now. And if you don't have it for them, they want to know, because the scouts are going to be at all their games. Their second graders getting looks, already. Why can't we steal the ball in first grade? Why can't I be on the court with them doing this? So this is a brutal time of year for me. So my coworkers are going to catch a lot of it here the next probably 2-3 weeks as I'm getting stuff prepared. So again, they truly are a great group of people to work with. So yeah, it kind of felt really good to, vent that out a little bit.
You love to hear that, but hey, thanks for all you're doing for getting youth sports out there, because again,
important.
Hey, without you, a lot of these people that we're seeing on our televisions in this day and age wouldn't be here without you. So appreciate you doing that, Corey. So the other night we had Rachel Lindsay on from the Buffalo News. We were doing a big Sabres talk just because she's one of the beat reporters for them. But my give them their flowers for the New York Jets finally getting a win, because again, we have a soft spot again for like the Lions folks that have come through. So Aaron Glenn, talk about culture building. So I stuck with that one again. But I mean, as far as like giving the flowers, I mean, I'll be lame and do a cop out here again for kind of piggybacking off of what my friend Adam was saying in the chat earlier. So it's been great having like a good discourse around, like, again, some really heated rivals, like the Bills and Chiefs, like these last 4 or 5 years now. I think it's really ugly on all social media. And like, you can even talk about this with the Ravens too, like, especially with just a lot of these heated rivalries. So if I'm going to say anything that grinds my gears, it's just like the absolute, just like ugly hate talk. Like, yes, in the moment, I'm going to be spitting fire, like in the middle of a game. Like I'll say, "Oh, I hope he breaks his," even though it's terrible to say too, of course.
Break his legs.
Yeah, I'm like, my family and friends will just basically say I can sometimes turn demonic during games.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time,
We've seen
but at the same time, like having a level conversation is important, because first of all, if you're just having like these spats on social media, it's cringeworthy in the utmost extent. And just like, cool, you're a keyboard warrior, but if you can't have a nuanced conversation, just like actually make like real points, that's my grind my gears moment on here. And I feel like if something like this is proof that you can absolutely have like some good conversations with like other fan bases and maybe people you might disagree with from their sports lens or just in general. So like something like this, I'm going to do a little bit of both. Column A, give them their flowers. So to you guys, thank you for coming on and having some great like information to share, because again, in our market for Western New York, for Bills Mafia, Buffalo Sabres, like it's very saturated. So you don't hear a lot from other markets. You don't hear a lot from like what other perspectives are. What do people think of the Bills?
We have one sports radio station. Like it's very much just, he's right.
So like we always appreciate having like the outsiders' perspectives, because again, you don't get enough of it from others, I feel like. And not to say that other like content creators and folks that are in our realm don't do that. But again, it's always, I feel, very refreshing to hear it, just because, again, I feel like we don't hear enough of it. So I really appreciate you guys doing this with us. It's been a hell of a time already. We're 90 minutes deep and we're just getting on with this too.
And
we appreciate that.
Go ahead. I'll end it with this for you guys. Quick, I'm going to give my hate, my grind my gears. Chris Maz, you'll appreciate this. I think last night I got my first troll. Someone tried to troll me last night on Twitter about my Sabres take. I saw your boy Adam gave me some props with the Lion, Alex Lyon love that I shared. So yeah, somebody trolled me. I've never been trolled on X until last night.
You made it, I think.
Yeah, that's how you know something right. I didn't. I laughed. I didn't respond. I was like, whatever. It's like, who the fuck is this loser? You know what I mean? It's really, you know what I mean? And a lot of guys that we've had on our show, like some of the bigger guys that cover like the either the Sabres or the Bills beat, and even like national guys that cover the NFL. Like who do we have, Chris?
We've had Tyler Dunn from
Guy Dunn, Ross Tucker. Some of these people, they all kind of like, we asked them their origins of like, you know, how they got into sports media, and we asked them a lot like back in the day, like, how do you guys handle like trolls? And they're all like whatever, man, like it's not even a big deal. You ghost them, you block them, whatever. But so that was kind of, I feel like, a coming of age moment. Someone trolled me, but like
unless
Chris Bass said,
then you could just have some more fun poking them even more.
Like, what else
you get out of them.
Right. Yeah, I thought about doing that, but it was late, so I was like, whatever. But yeah, to echo Chris's sentiments, the West War Room guys, I feel like thank you so much for coming on, giving you guys your flowers. Definitely like friends now. Love to come on your guys' show sometime. Set you up with my guy Marcus or anybody else we could set you up with, and we'll just be excited to kind of tune in from time to time, hear what you guys are talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, Austin.
No, I just want to give one shout out because last few weeks, gotta admit, wasn't the greatest present on X. Like, I'm like that 99-year-old in a, I don't know my age, whatever body I'm in.
Are you the old man that yells at the cloud?
Exactly, like get out of my sky type deal. But last few weeks have been a little more interactive on there, and Bills Mafia has actually been fantastic. There's a specific shout out I want to give. Name's Kaylee. It's at Josh Allen's girlfriend, which always cracks me up. But
now that's a handle right there.
Yeah, right. I'm like, wait, is this actually? I'm like, no, he's got a what's her name? But
what's her name? Hey, we got a pop star too.
Yeah, right. No, she's been fantastic. Like in all of Bills Mafia has. You guys are no different. It's been awesome. Me and Chiefs Kingdom, really all I see on the Bills is kind of that cringeworthy stuff that you guys talk about from other Chiefs fans that I'd like to think I'm not quite part of those because I don't like to be that. I think Bills are a great team. I love the rivalry. Do I hope we absolutely obliterate you this Sunday? Obviously. That's what we want.
The feeling is mutual.
Likewise,
so
yeah, that's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
We all, minus Cody, because he knows that's not an option, want to obliterate our opponents on Sundays. But I still, like, at the end of the day, I'm still going to respect the Bills. I'm still going to respect Josh Allen and still hopefully have good conversations with Bills Mafia. I had a conversation with a Cowboys fan a couple weeks ago about their defense being soft, and I laid out facts. This is kind of the troll moment. I asked for him to lay out some facts why he would disagree, and he came back with your mom. And like in my thought, I'm like, dude, my mom is tougher than your defense. Like that doesn't. Right?
Should have sold him that, man.
I can bring her in here and she will obliterate you on here too. But it's like, that's what I don't want to do, right? Like, I just want to have good, friendly conversation. You guys have been awesome, hearing true Bills perspectives, hearing your thoughts on the Chiefs, Broncos, and I guess the Raiders has been awesome. Yeah. So that's all I wanted to say. Just shout out to all the good Bills Mafia. They have a reputation of being stand-up people. And really the last few weeks, I'm just going to echo that. That's all I've experienced.
So, yeah, thank you for that, Austin. And
Thank you
again for you guys. So before we go, this wouldn't be a true roundtable without making some picks for this Sunday.
Ooh,
so I'd love to we'll start with everybody else first. I mean, love to hear your guys' picks for how this Sunday will go. Will it be a blowout? Will it be just a nail biter to the finish, as they typically are? Love to hear what you guys think for Bills Chiefs this Sunday.
Yeah, so I don't think the Bills defense can stand with this offense, unfortunately. For the sake of this, though, I'm still going to pick the Bills.
Hey, that's my mom I was talking about, the one
Nice.
that's tougher than Cowboys.
Mama Shovich showed up.
There we go.
Is that Brandy? Hey, Miss Brandy.
I was gonna
Mama
say,
Shovich.
episode. Every
Every
episode.
episode. She's
Yeah,
ride or
love
die
that.
day one. Yeah.
No, we
Love
got the
that.
same thing. My mom
Yeah.
does the same thing.
They don't.
So
Our
right on.
parents don't
Go
tune
Bills.
in live usually. Well, sometimes they do. They watch it recorded too.
yep, they watch it all. So hey,
Cody
we appreciate
from,
the moms out there.
Yep. My mom, my dad.
Portugal.
Yep.
Yep, whole family affair on there. So yeah. All right. So Corey's going with the Bills. What do we
Matt
think?
Prater
Joe?
kicks the game winner.
Oh, wouldn't that be magical? And it's all because you guys brought him onto your show.
Yeah.
That's right.
Actually, do you guys hope Tyler? I mean, obviously we want Tyler Bass to be healthy, but do you want him to get his job back?
I mean, at
still
some
about
point,
ready.
Matt Prater does indeed truly need to retire. He's 41.
But I know, but like
Yes.
Matt Prater's only missed one game-winning or tying field goal in his career, and we know Tyler Bass and his wide right.
Yes, I was there for that one. So
Yeah.
brutal.
So I'm just saying, like, Matt Prater's we'll share the clip with you guys of him talking about what goes through his mind during clutch kicks,
Yes,
because
please
he
do.
said literally nothing. He's like, I literally the same thing, first quarter or game winner, in my head, I just want to kick the shit out of the ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
He doesn't feel pressure. He just goes up there, nails it, goes back to the sideline.
No, my
Yeah,
favorite thing, you mentioned that, like, he literally just like trotted onto the field as like the clock was ticking in that first game against the Raiders. Does a quick smelling salt, boots it, gets all the love and hugs, and rides off into the sunset for the night.
Yeah. And it's funny because like we asked, we asked him that and he kind of equated it to the kicker from the replacements, like give me the bloody ball and I'll kick the piss out of it. And that's what he did.
All right,
All right,
yeah.
Matt.
What do you guys think, Matt, Cody? What are your thoughts for Sunday's game?
Cody, I'll
Go
let
ahead,
you go
Matt.
first.
Oh my God.
All right, I guess I'm
we-
going first.
Go ahead.
If this is a playoff game, I would take the Chiefs, but I don't know. For some reason, the Bills have the Chiefs number in the regular season. My main concern for the Bills is they're giving up 150 yards on the ground, but Pacheco, he got banged up. Bills are at home. Pacheco banged up. I'm going to go with the Bills on this one.
Okay. Cody?
I think eventually the Chiefs are probably going to beat the Bills in the regular season. And I think what's going to happen is the Bills are going to look at the trade deadline to see what they need to work on to then meet the Chiefs again in the playoffs. And again, we'll see where that rolls if they meet up. But I think Chiefs are going to come out on top, unfortunately. But I do think that is going to actually be a good thing for the Bills. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think like Harrison Butker, maybe kick a game winner, because I do feel like your Bills defense will come alive a little bit. It's just, the Chiefs, they just have a lot of weapons. And I think the rookie that we were talking about, Richard, I think he's going to be a little bit more active in this game just because Isaiah Pacheco might be out. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Fair. All right. All good takes so far. Sean, I'll let you go, then I'll take mine last.
I honestly don't know. I'm still thinking about it in my head right now, but you made a good point as far as like the Bills have, as of late, owned the regular season matchup. For what that's worth, it's not really worth shit. I mean, if we're going for the number one seed, it obviously has ramifications, but I would rather lose this game and then win the war in the playoffs. But I think no matter what, I think it's a field goal game. I think the higher the score is, the least likely that the Bills win, because I don't know that we have the offense or the defense to keep up with them. But we are at home. I think that we if there was going to be a game that we are going to maybe unlock the Bills a game that we have not seen, if they can put it together, it would be this game. We've tended to do that. So I'm going to say 31-28 Bills on a game-winning field goal by Prater.
Dang. Okay. I'll give mine since you want to go last, Chris.
Sure.
It's always hard for me because Chiefs lose when I pick them. So I've been picking against them. But I'm going to go with what my heart's telling me this one. I actually think the Chiefs do dominate this one for two reasons. I do think right now they're just a better team. No shot against the Bills. I think Bills are going to do what Cody said, use it to see what they need to get for when we meet in the play. Because Bills are still going to make playoffs. Let's not be stupid. Barring something catastrophic that nobody wants to see, Bills will be in the playoffs. Same with the Chiefs. If Chiefs lose, like these teams are still going to be in the playoffs. But I actually think the Chiefs are tired of hearing they're playing bad people, or like, we're playing injured teams or whatever. So this is like their first time that they're going to be able to prove that they're quote unquote back. So I think the Chiefs are actually going to win this probably like 38-20.
There it is.
All right. Calling a shot. All right.
I don't think the Bills' offense is good. Like Chiefs' defense is stout. I don't think the Bills have enough.
Right.
20 points is a lot on Chiefs' defense anyway. But unless Josh Allen strictly uses his legs in the passing game, like doesn't actually throw the ball, and he runs for 4 touchdowns, I think it's going to be tough for the Bills to score.
Bills Mafia, please troll this clown.
No,
Don't do trolling.
I agree with Austin. Chris Maz, I definitely want to hear your pick as the last guy, but I'll tell you this, and Austin, and you guys can kind of comment if you agree. I only see this game going really two ways. Bills lose close or Chiefs blow them out. I don't think it goes on the other way. It's one or the other.
Do you guys think it would be more of like how the Ravens game went in week 1?
I think that's
I could
similar
see it
game
that
flow.
way. I
Yeah.
could very well see it going that way. It's just classic line: whoever gets the ball last will win.
That's kind of what goes through my head. Is I see how that first game goes week 1 against the Ravens, where you like. I honestly almost turned the game off because I was like, "There's not a name. There's no way."
We felt that way too.
Yeah, we were throwing in the towel. 5 minutes left.
like,
there was 2 touchdown lead. So
yeah, I feel like that rivalry factor. You guys are truly probably the closest thing to a rival that the Chiefs actually have had in the last 5 years. So I think that plays a little bit of a factor to it. I know the atmosphere there is going to be absolutely bonkers, and I think that helps a little bit too. But I don't think it would get to a double digit in my opinion. I can't see that.
I was the only one who called that Packers Steelers game.
There you
No,
go.
I called it too.
Did you?
I did. I picked the Packers.
Oh, okay. I thought I was the only one on the
Because I said Aaron Rodgers was a cranky old man. He's going to get upset, and he did. He got angry. So-
He did.
You called that one.
We
All
can't
right.
repeat what he said.
No, you cannot. You can definitely figure out what he said, but you cannot. repeat that. Yeah.
You got Chris Maz.
All right. So obviously, again, a big stakes at hand here for both teams. Well, let's get into the 1 seed, advancing more in each prospective division. But, however, I do think this is going to be a clash. I think it's going to be literally a 1 point difference in this game. I do have the Chiefs coming out on top of this. However, I do think, again, similar to how I think it was the year of the 13 seconds game where the offense was just in a real big rut. I do think this will unlock a bit more of the Bills' offense because they realize they have to go tit for tat in order to keep up with the Chiefs here. I'd be surprised, again, if the Bills fire on all cylinders, like they are absolutely flawless. They could absolutely win, but I do have the Chiefs coming out. I think the Bills will cover the 1.5 point spread, of course, but I do see the Chiefs winning, as much as it's going to kill me being there, of course, but I do see them winning this one. And similar to what Cody was saying, they'll really try and hammer home at the deadline and try and find ways to make their salary cap work, among other things. But still, as we're kind of wrapping things up, gentlemen, absolute pleasure. To all those tuning in.
Thank you guys. You guys were awesome.
Nearly 1,200 viewers, near, far, all across the country. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, again, to our gentlemen here of the AFC West War Room rivals. So we appreciate your time here, of course. But as we always like to say at the end of our show, go Bills, let's go Buffalo, and every
Let's go
sense of the
Buffalo.
word. I hope to be wrong, and hey, these guys hope to be wrong too. They've been very respectful to the Bills brand here. So y'all have a good one. Again, thanks to everyone for tuning in.